Okay. Are we recording? We're recording.
All right, we're good. How's it going?
It goes. I mean, yeah, we're shipping. It's only Tuesday. We shipped a website product launch video. It's great. Week's going strong.
Is it
What about
live
you?
yet? Is it live now?
Not yet. No. No. But they're probably putting their social media stuff together to launch like any minute now.
So it is launching today.
It is launching today. Yeah.
Awesome.
Very cool AI tool to manage big data, which is
Amazing.
funny because we even have some clients in the big data space, and I know from talking with them that they would love this tool. So I'm going to make some intros to them for sure.
Cool. Amazing.
Nice when there's overlap like that.
Yeah, totally. All right, let's do it.
Yeah. You want to know what we're talking about this week?
Yeah, what did we decide on?
Well, I'm just calling it, the working title right now is the CMS episode, and we're not
Oh,
going to
right.
cover all of that, but the main points that I put together is, when do you know your CMS is holding you back? Which I love. Types of CMSs, what to look for in a CMS, what to avoid, common misunderstandings, why open source is bad. And we might not even get to all of this in the time we have. So
Mhm.
we can just start, and maybe this turns into a two-parter.
I mean, those all sound like separate discussions.
They could be, yeah. So maybe we just
Warning signs is a
start
good
it.
start. Yeah.
Yeah. Like maybe, do you need a CMS? Like that's a great question. Um, it kind of goes back to the beginning. And it's funny when you unpack that, because the web ultimately is just text. Like you can write a text file, put that text file onto a server, and boom, you have a website. Like that's the cool thing about the web. It's just that now to edit it, you have to go in and edit text. So the CMS is that layer of making the ease of editing content possible for people. So that's a
Mhm.
very short, succinct history of why we even have a content management system. All for things you don't need it, but you should, because it speeds things up.
Agreed. I
So,
mean, what would be okay? So what would the like? Is that the only reason you need it? Speeds things up.
well, there's all of
Like, what's the reality of creating a website without using a CMS?
the reality of creating a website without a CMS is you're writing HTML, you have CSS files, and then you have JavaScript for front end logic.
Yeah.
And that's like a flat
And you're designing
website.
your own backend.
Exactly. Yeah. There's no, like, I didn't even touch on backend. That's all just front end. So
Mhm.
if you want someone to be able to submit something and that data goes somewhere, you need a backend. Right? And again, you can get away without a CMS and still have a backend, but the content management system layer is the thing that allows people dealing with the front end to upload content, manage assets, manage content, deploy content workflows, and in more robust CMSs, actually work on business logic in the tool, which is where we're at today. The modern CMS is a lot more robust than just editing text and image. That's why Webflow, actually, who we're a Webflow partner, they call their platform a web experience platform, which is the new term that they're trying to own, because they
Yeah.
touch everything. They are the back end, they are the front end, they are the CMS, but it's not just that anymore. So it's like, it's the layer that empowers marketers,
Yeah. So
essentially.
the reality is really like it's an essential tool. Like you really would not be building. I mean, it would be crazy for an organization to be doing a website without a CMS because the amount of management it would require is just prohibitive, especially if you're a larger business. Like, yeah, maybe you're a smaller organization. You could build your own website and you don't have to use a CMS that much. But for anyone in the like beyond the individual founder operator,
Hmm.
it's essential. I
It
would
is.
recommend.
Yeah. And you do have some cool stuff happening these days. Like Framer has like a Figma-esque web builder where you can deploy a Framer site with really rich animations. And it's amazing for the startup community because it allows you to visually design a site and deploy it.
Hmm.
And that's a bit of the race right now for things. We saw that at the Config conference in back in May of this
Right.
year,
Yeah.
where everyone was trying to do like design to code flawlessly. But Framers actually had that dialed in already. It's just It's good for landing pages and really small sites.
Hmm.
So great for a startup who's short on time, maybe short on budget, and also is looking for the speed to make quick pivots. But where it tends to fail is on more of the data-driven aspects of a great CMS, which I think
Hmm.
Webflow does exceptionally well. Yeah.
So
So
it's needed.
needed. Yeah.
um,
I would love to talk about the question that we have with our clients and prospects all the time. It's like, when do you know your CMS is holding you back?
yeah, I guess we could talk about like different flavors of CMS another time. But I also
Hmm.
one of my other uh, topics that I'd love to talk about is what's a consumer product versus a business product. It's a
Hmm.
category because a lot of times we see companies that are switching away from certain CMSs because they, for some reason, decided to use it. And I would consider some of these CMS platforms that we have experienced as consumer products, and you're trying to like mold a consumer product into a business product, and it doesn't really work. And so those are often the companies that are like, we got to move away from this.
Hmm.
So yeah, maybe we can do that when we start going a bit deeper into the actual different options.
Yeah,
But
that's a great topic
yes,
all on its own
when is it a
because it's
problem?
like choosing the fit. Yeah, choosing the right tool for the right problems
Yeah.
is where that comes in. Because you could,
Mm,
as a small business, you could definitely use Squarespace, but it's got some severe limitations, and some of those limitations are actually the benefits for being a small
mhm,
business.
mhm.
For a team like ours and the clients we work with, it's usually not an option because of how restrictive it is. And
Yeah.
then you've got the Webflow and the WordPresses and things like that. And then headless is a completely different topic. But like
Yeah.
you said, we should probably cover that in a completely different episode.
Yeah, for sure. Okay,
So
well
yeah,
let's talk about let's spend a couple minutes on just yeah, what are some challenges? What are some flags?
yeah, we could do like a you go, I go.
Sure.
All right, you go.
I think that there's two that kind of are tie for me. I guess
You
I'll
go.
pick
Yeah.
flexibility. So like if you are not able to, if it's not functional, basically not functional for whatever it is that you want to do or you're trying to use it for, if it's just not functional in any way, and and those issues are recurring and it affects your, there's like different tiers to what would be the seriousness of something non-functional. Backend issues are more internal. So, are you able to efficiently use the website as a tool internally? And then there's all of the UX issues that are, if you have something that's non-functional and you run an association website, for example, which is all member-based, and so the features are all member-based features. Non-functional customer-facing issues are higher priority flag, I think, than some of the back-end issues. But either way,
Hmm.
like if you feel like your hands are tied, basically, and the frustration levels are really high. Um, because of things
Right.
breaking, not working, not smooth, customer experience sucks. Cost often goes hand in hand with a lot of these types of issues. So high cost, low return on investment.
Yeah. That's a great one because we even had a recent client experience where they just flat out didn't want to use the website because it was so restrictive to their layout that they wanted to do one simple change and it felt insurmountable to
Yeah,
them.
totally.
And it wasn't even like the one I'll get to is a bit about developers and all that, but like it wasn't even a development issue. It's just that the layout was so rigid, they'd locked themselves into it
Hmm.
and they couldn't get their content into it in a meaningful way. Not only did it take them forever to upload the content, but once they finally got it in there, it really wasn't delivering in the way they wanted it to. So, like mental
That's interesting.
barrier,
Yeah.
they were just like, I don't even want to update the site because, like, what's the point? So when you
Yeah.
get there where you just resent
Hmm.
your CMS,
You're in trouble. Yeah.
yeah, you're in big trouble. And I think mine is kind of related to yours. Actually, it's very related. But if you still need a developer to update your pages, it's a big problem because it means you want to deploy a landing page or like something new or a new layout or something. you're calling your developer or your IT team to just like do that work or fix those problems. Like that's a big issue. Having to
Mhm.
involve a completely new person to just get marketing content up is a big red flag for
Totally.
us.
Totally. Yeah, that's I guess one of the workarounds that people do when they're in that
Hmm.
situation where they're like, I can't operate my website basically.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like the developer becomes the content manager
Yeah.
instead, which
Well,
we've heard
yeah.
from developers. They don't like that either. They've got other things to do. So IT, like, please, we don't want to have to deal with the CMS anymore,
Hmm.
right? They're definitely an ideal persona for us. Yeah. So that's mine. You got another one?
Integrations.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
your website can't integrate with best in class technology, so you might be operating tech stack that you just can't really integrate well with the current website, whether that's like marketing tools, CRM tools, payment tools, things like that. Yeah, like if the website's siloed and it's not compatible with your overall tech stack, it's kind of useless.
Hmm.
You lose a ton of efficiency, and there's just a ton of extra work that needs to be done, and nothing speaking to each other. That happens quite often. That would be my next
Yeah.
one, I think.
That's a really good one too, because you have options with how you integrate. You can have deep integrations where
Hmm.
they're fairly custom and fragile, like tightly coupled into the system. But then you can also have loosely coupled things where it's just a webhook or an API call, um, something that fails gracefully if it was
Hmm.
built the right way. And some CMSs allow you to build it that way. Others, like Squarespace, aren't going to allow that level of flexibility. It's going to be
Yeah.
literally like forcing a square peg into a round hole kind of
Mm.
thing.
Mm.
Yeah. I think one of the bigger blockers that is new for me that I didn't think I would even be talking about is the inclusion of things like AEO, answer engine optimization. So all of this like AI rush to figure out what the new world of SEO looks like with generative AI now in the mix.
Hmm.
People are really trying to figure this out. CMSs are trying to figure this out. There's
Yeah.
a recent release from Webflow now allows you to generate the proper schema markup for answer engine optimization, which is so far one of the first CMSs that I've seen with such a big release like that. And
Yeah.
that's the type of content that we were just writing manually and pasting because it's on the code layer, like it's in the background. It's
Hmm.
not on the
Hmm.
page. It's there to tell a robot what the structure of the page is, what it means, who it's for, all of that stuff. So yeah, Webflow made a big move by incorporating that directly into the CMS so that a marketer or an SEO expert can go in, generate that, tweak it, and connect it with your content. So if your CMS doesn't have that stuff now, it's probably a flag.
I thought you were going to say probably too late.
Yeah, maybe you're too late. Um, I got one more, but do you have any
Yeah,
others?
got one. I've got one more.
Nice.
Just a high total cost of ownership. So if you're paying high hosting fees, you're also paying. It's kind of related to the other ones, but it's the paying point is very specifically attached to cost.
Mhm.
Just a high total cost of ownership, and a lot of times people know they know that they're operating something that's very high cost, but when you ask, they have no idea unless they go back and take a look. So it's like one of those sneaky
Yeah.
costs that people aren't really keeping track of, but can be insanely expensive just in the way a website's deployed, unincluding the fact that you're probably in some instances getting locked in unnecessarily to a vendor that is just not providing type of value. Those costs add up. So yeah, in the worst case scenario, they're just absurd right off the bat, and the best case scenario, they seem affordable. But when you add everything up, all of the requests, the turnaround time, the frustration, the lack of efficiency, the hosting costs, it's like quite a big expense, way bigger than it should
Yeah.
be.
Yeah. And if it's an expense you're not willing to pay, then you're opening yourself up to risk as well.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
um, well, you stole my last one, so I'll
Oh,
build
okay.
on it. I think like a good example is WordPress. don't deploy a WordPress site unless you're willing to pay monthly maintenance on it,
Yeah.
basically, because plugins get out of date, need to be updated. Updating a plugin can break the site. Updating the WordPress core can break the site. So if you're committing to WordPress, you best be committing to ongoing maintenance. It's a very different idea. I swear, we're not advertising Webflow, but it's very different from Webflow where it's a managed service. You pay a subscription fee, you set it and forget it. They handle updates, security, uptime, all of that stuff. If you go with WordPress, do not have that. There are managed WordPress ecosystems, but you still need someone going in there and making sure that things are running properly. So it's the total cost of ownership commitment. The one thing I'll add to that too is like if you select a CMS built in something like, let's say, .NET, right? You've got your enterprise CMSs, which are really, really robust. But the more specific the language, like .NET or something like that, your developer pool is going to shrink, and your developer costs are also going to increase. So think of something like Adobe Experience Manager. I think last I checked, the licensing for that alone to Adobe was $100,000 a year. And it's an interesting platform in that I only hear complaints about it. But to find people to build on it, they're specialists. The pool is small, right? So selecting a CMS has much more business implications than you'd think.
Yeah.
Not just how does this fit my business or how am I being sold this new technology? It's like, what's the total cost of ownership? What's the developer pool like? What happens if I want to switch in 3 to 5 years? Am I going to be held captive by the system? Lots to consider.
That's a good point. Yeah, we should do on the next one. We should do the criteria that we look through. Start with the criteria that we look through when we're kind of making CMS decisions, and then go through each of the CMSs and map it out against the criteria. And maybe we have a third shared screen where we're actually drawing it or writing it.
Yeah, no, that's a great idea.
And then we can start to build that and to maybe turn it into a takeaway as well.
Nice. Well, yeah, so we covered 1 point out of the 6.
Yeah, it's a good intro.
Yeah, it's an excellent intro.
Into the next few episodes about CMS platforms.
Awesome. Looks like we got a series. Unintended series.
Cool. Okay, see ya.
All right. Take it easy.
Bye.